There is no practical ceasefire right now in Gaza. Israel is still killing innocent civilians, women, and children in Gaza as we speak. They have accused Hamas of breaking ceasefires. They have said that Hamas killed two of their soldiers, IDF soldiers, but there is absolutely zero evidence to support that. The mainstream media will try to brainwash you, being the propagandist for the Zionist state of Israel. They will try to tell you that it is Hamas who has broken the ceasefire, not Israel. Right now, we're in obviously a situation where we will see Israel committing much more intense attacks on the people of Gaza, because that's what they're good at. That's what they're doing already in, for example, Lebanon and Syria. So going back to Gaza with full force, committing genocide that they are already committing, is nothing going to be shocking for any one of us here. Let's take a listen at Dave Smith, how he is schooling Piers Morgan. We know who Piers is, Zionist mouthpiece, and also Seth Dillon. I believe his name is Seth Dillon. He is a political conservative political commentator from the United States. I think he was born in Florida in the States. But let's take a listen how Dave Smith is explaining whether this ceasefire, quote unquote, will hold and for how long. Take a listen.
Piers, and it's tough. I don't know why. I got little kids, so I don't know why this is the image I can't. But you know, like when a little kid has a loose tooth and like right before the tooth falls out, and it's just like it's hanging on by the tiniest little thread. Like it's basically all. I mean, that's where the ceasefire is right now. Like officially, they're saying it hasn't been broken, but oof, man, are we really, really close? Look, I wish I could be more optimistic about it. I think that there's a lot of fundamentals on the ground that make it very unlikely for this to lead to a lasting peace. But one of the dynamics that I'm most concerned about probably, and you've done a lot of covering this over the last year or so, Piers, but there have been both Netanyahu himself, the longest serving prime minister and current prime minister in Israeli history, he's said recently that the Greater Israel Project is near and dear to his heart. Obviously, Smotrich and Ben Gvir and others in the government have talked about ethnically cleansing the Gazans out of Gaza, taking it over themselves. You know, Donald Trump, there's this weird standoff, right, where Donald Trump finally said, I don't think I've ever heard a U.S. president say before, that they would cut off all funding and support for Israel. And he said, if they tried to annex the West Bank. And then when J.D. Vance is in Israel, they hold a vote in the Knesset and vote to annex the West Bank. Now, I think the dynamic here is this. Are those guys going to give up on this plan when they know, these are not stupid people, Piers, they know damn well that they have lost the entire young generation? Like over here in America, in terms of people who watch these debates all this time, it's over. My side has won the debate. The support for Israel has evaporated, and they know that. And so in a way, I think they know that this is their moment. They've got the most pro-Israel administration in the history of the United States of America, and they know that in the future they will not have this level of support. So if they were going to make a move to ethnically cleanse the rest of the Palestinians out of Gaza, if they were going to make a move to officially annex the West Bank, which has already, essentially been annexed, this might be the time that they feel like they got to go for it. And so that's a big question. I'm not saying I know that that's the case. I hope it's not, but I am very concerned about that.
Yeah, I mean, West Bank is being annexed, even though we don't see or hear about it in mainstream media. But West Bank, they belong to the Zionist state of Israel. They have checkposts, they have their military bases. Their presence is in every corner of West Bank. West Bank, guys, is being annexed a long time ago. They're not just making it official, but that doesn't really mean anything. We have to continuously let people know what is happening because the narrative has to be set right.
Well, I have my doubts about whether or not a ceasefire can hold in this situation because, both sides are both sides have their own interests to protect. I think that, I don't know if you did, Dave. I would ask you, because I'm not sure if you did or not. But were you objecting to Hamas, dragging people through the streets and executing them after the ceasefire was announced and Israel started to withdraw? And we're talking about concern for civilians and people that are being slaughtered in the streets. Like, did you express any outrage about that when that was happening?
That is totally besides the point. If Hamas is executing people who spied for Israel, it is not Israel's business anymore, because those traitors must be held accountable and must be punished, so that in the future Israel will not have information whether they will have certain number of people in an area and go and attack them, even though they will always use these pretext that, hey, Hamas members were there. These spies, they have given all kind of wrong information to not just to Israel, but also to the Israeli government itself for a very long time. They're operating in Gaza for the last 2 years, telling Israel, hey, you have all the reason to be scared of Hamas because this is what they're doing, so come and get them. And Israel ended up bombing more and more people because of these traitors, because of these spies, in order to prevent a future genocide. I mean, of course, this genocide is already ongoing, but in order to prevent one in the future, they have to hold people accountable.
Yeah, I did,
I don't know.
but I just
I'm
find
asking
it.
honestly.
Yeah, right. So just to answer your question, yes, I did, and I find it just hilarious that you guys who have been supporting the destruction of Gaza somehow don't see your own hypocrisy when you turn around and go, "Oh my God, people are dying."
I've never
in the
supported
yes,
the destruction of Gaza. I've never once supported the destruction of Gaza. I wish that none of it had ever happened.
Okay, well, Gaza's been destroyed, and you've been supporting Israel's right to defend itself the entire time. So what does that add up to?
Yeah, that's not supporting the destruction of Gaza.
I condemn Hamas. I condemn killing people. People should have a right to a fair trial. I treat people with the presumption of innocence. So even if Hamas says that those were collaborators, sorry, they deserve some type of fair trial or something, just like those 1,700 people that your buddy called terrorists. I treat them with the presumption of innocence too.
Yeah, I mean, this is the genocidal, party's narrative that I don't support the destruction of Gaza, but hey, Gaza has become a demolition site. I have no problem with that. So they get caught all the time with their lies, with their hypocrisy. Unbelievable.
Okay. You also like Nick Fuentes and don't have anything to say about his bad ideas. So it's just weird to get a moral superiority coming.
I got a lot to say about his bad ideas. What are you talking about, man? Look, I believe what I believe. Obviously, if anyone's ever listened to me, do I say the same stuff he does? No, we have different views.
Well, why do you like him? Why do you like him? Why do you defend Nick Fuentes? Why do you like him if you hate his ideas so much?
I don't know. I mean, I hate a lot of Pierce's ideas, and I like him. Piers was for gun control. He's a dirty Brit coming over to my country trying to round up the guns. I'd still love to grab a beer with him.
Yeah, but he's never called for the execution of atheists, heretics, and perfidious Jews. He doesn't say that they should, burn in ovens and glorify Hitler. I mean, he hasn't gone that far, has he? I don't think Piers has said anything like that. I don't know why you don't want to be friends with somebody who has those kinds of views.
I have not gone that far, no.
Not that far, not yet. Well, look, I mean,
I have one more question for you. I want to know what Dave thinks about Tucker essentially calling Charlie Kirk a heretic by saying that anybody who's a Christian...
now he lost the narrative over this particular issue of Gaza's genocide. So he's now changing the topic and talking about Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. I mean, come on, Seth, Dillon, you are so hypocrite. And we can all see it, even from Piers Morgan. His hypocrisy is getting exposed every day by people like Bassem Youssef, Mehdi Hassan. Subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.